What's up everybody, it's me RP. Now today's video is gonna be about helmets. Now in Singapore, I believe many of you would be very familiar with what this thing is. I mean, obviously it's a helmet, but this is what we would usually call a 3/4 helmet, an open face helmet, or a jet helmet. This is the kind of helmet that is always recommended first. In fact, this is what the riding schools sell you if you do not already have a helmet of your own. And it's probably the most commonly used form of motorcycle helmet in Singapore and in fact most of Asia. Now, when I ride, this is what I usually ride with. This is what we just call a full face helmet, and this is the standard that I set for myself and most riders that I recommend gear to. Of course, not specifically this model of helmet, but the style of helmet. I would always recommend a full face helmet. Now, the thing is, a lot of Singaporeans ride with a 3/4 open face helmet, and there are many reasons why it's such a popular helmet form in Singapore and in most of Asia, and in fact in Europe as well. The thing is, Singapore and most of Southeast Asia, the very first reason most people would give for riding around with an open face helmet is that it gives you a lot more, airflow through your face, allows you to breathe better in this humid environment, as well as keep your face and your neck in general cooler than you would with a full face helmet. Most of the riders, however, in general actually don't really have a preference. They just buy a open face helmet because in general, open face helmets are definitely cheaper than a full face helmet of the same general protection level in terms of at least the upper shell. Now, I would like to say that it is in fact a very bad idea for most people to ride with an open face helmet in general, purely for the protective aspect of it. Now, the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration of the US, has statistics on head injuries, or at least the crash locations that happen on a helmet. Now, in general, the percentage of injuries tend to be around the chin area. Okay, a whopping 34.6% of all blows to the head in the event of a motorcycle accident happens on the chin area. I have not even gone into the visor area. That adds another 10%. The rest of the head, from your back to the sides and the top, areas that are covered by a 3/4 helmet, they just make up the paltry remaining 55%. So when you wear an open face helmet, you are risking that 1 in 3 times you actually go down, it is going to actually severely injure you. And if you like your face as much as I do, you would really reconsider the fact that a 3/4 helmet is even worth wearing to begin with, and move over to a full face helmet. Now, a lot of people, when faced with the recommendation that you should ride with a full face helmet, the statistics are all there. 1/3 of all accidents, when they occur, if they hit your head, it's gonna happen on the chin where your 3/4 helmet is exposed. They would reply that I'm fine, I'm just wearing the 3/4 helmet to maintain a basic level of safety, as well as to follow helmet laws that are prevalent in Singapore and of course in many other countries worldwide. Now the thing is, they are coming from the angle because their reasoning is, I mostly use my motorcycle for simple commuting, where I'm driving very slow, or rather safely at low speeds, in predictable patterns, predictable traffic. Also they assume, and that the chance of getting into an accident itself is very low. Okay, and if they get into that accident to begin with, it's most likely going to be a car hitting them and a helmet wouldn't save them. That's what they believe, which is to some extent very true. If a truck or a car hits you square in the body, a helmet is not going to save you. However, the truth is that for the most part, most accidents are going to be single vehicle crashes, especially when it comes to motorcycles. Okay, based on statistics, 39, almost 40% basically of all motorcycle accidents are sustained all by themselves. Okay, the other 52% is when another vehicle hits them or they hit a vehicle, and then of course 3 vehicles or more is a very minuscule amount. So it is safe to say that in most of the accidents that happen, you are going to be the one that is causing it to yourself. And when that happens, the chances of the accident being non-lethal and being able to be mitigated by safety equipment like your helmet, gloves, a jacket is greatly increased. And on top of that, a lot of people they say, yes, I do wear a full face helmet, but I put it on when I'm taking a bit more riskier activities like going on a grand tour, cross-country tour, across countries, across multiple states, or when I'm on the track or when I'm off-road where I am seeing increased speeds. Now the thing is that most of the accidents aren't really tied to the level of speed that you are involved in. A lot of the accidents are based on circumstances, the environment and unpredictability of it. So based on the National Safety Council statistics, more than half of the accidents happen in urban areas. More than 3/4, almost like 5/6 of accidents happen during urban commutes and in clear weather. Okay, so we are not even talking about rainy days where most would presume will be more dangerous, or in rural areas with very bad roads. Most of the accidents occur very close to home, just shortly after you leave your home or your office, and most of them occur in familiar areas within the urban area and under clear conditions. And urban areas and clear, hot sun-filled skies are pretty much the descriptor of what Singapore is like. And most Singaporeans are still wearing, 3/4 helmets, in a place where you are very likely to get in an accident. And the reasoning for this is very simple. In rural areas, yes, the roads are narrower. They are a lot more dangerous because they are less well maintained than they would in urban sectors, and they don't have the same level of traffic control. However, in urban areas, you have an increased density of vehicles, cars, other motorcycles, heavy vehicles in general. and this increases the level of unpredictability when it comes to movement within traffic. That's why you are going to see a lot more traffic risk in urban environments. And the same is true for weather. A lot of the accidents, contrary to common sense, they happen in clear weather, not rainy or thunderstorms in general. And this is because when it comes to rain, heavy rain, most people, they immediately start driving a lot more carefully, a lot more slowly. Whereas in clear weather, when the sun is out, you are more confident that you can see further ahead. Most people, including riders, you are going to have a tendency to speed far beyond what is actually reasonable. Not to say that I'm going to judge you for that, because I, of course, do so myself. But however, that is a very huge contributing factor as to why most accidents happen during clear weather. So it's not really correct to say that just because you are riding within the city doing very, very safe riding according to what you assume to be safe riding, that a 3/4 helmet is not necessary. In fact, I would say that regular daily commutes is the time where a full face helmet is most important, because that is going to be where you, in general, as a motorcyclist, is going to face the highest risk of getting in an accident, period. Now, of course, there are benefits to a 3/4 helmet. Okay, the fact is that a 3/4 helmet is going to allow you to breathe better. It's going to allow better wind flow into your helmet and allow you to stay cool. However, there are very specific applications where I think they are justifiable. Now, first of all, is if you are a trials rider, a 3/4 helmet is of course absolutely a necessity, because you are going to be doing a lot of physical exertion on the bike. So now is really the common theme of where I think a 3/4 helmet is justifiable in its usage, and that is when you are experiencing a lot of physical exertion, physical activity on the bike, when you still need to have some level of head protection. So that's where you are speaking of trials riders. You're speaking of food delivery, Food Panda, Uber Eats, basically delivery riders, where you are not expected to take off the helmet because time is of the essence and you need to get off the bike, rush to the final destination, drop off whatever you are delivering, and then get on the bike again as soon as you can. However, at that point, I would say that if you can take the increased weight, a flip-up helmet or a modular helmet is probably a better choice, because at least while you're on the road, you still have that chin bar, even though that chin bar is no way as safe as a proper full-face helmet. But however, if weight is of a factor in case you are really going to be climbing a lot of stairs, and that increase 400 to 500 grams is really a huge impediment, then a 3/4 helmet, of course, is a justified option. However, otherwise, I would say, having a full face helmet is always a better choice. The other thing is that even if you are not worried about the possibility of an accident, you are a very infrequent rider where statistically the number of accidents you are going to get into is horrendously low. That is also no excuse for not wearing a full face helmet, because wind noise is a thing. Now, the human ears are in general rated to comfortably take up to about 80 decibels of sound without permanent hearing loss when we are talking about extended periods of exposure to loud sounds. So 80 decibels is just about there. Now, most of the time, if you're riding on highways, the speeds of a motorcycle can vary between 80 to 100 kilometers an hour. or even more. And depending on your locality, wind can be either very strong or it can be non-existent. Like in the central parts of Singapore, there's almost no existence of wind, and you are just only talking about the wind that passes by your head when you are traveling at speed on a motorcycle. In other areas, like for example, when I was traveling in London, across most of the motorways, the wind speeds are very high, and on top of that, I'm traveling close to 140, 150 kilometers an hour on average. The wind noise is incredibly loud. Now, at that level, you can expect wind noise to be as little as 100 decibels, in low wind environments, and slightly lower speeds, to as high as 120, 125 decibels, way in excess of the safe noises that your ears can take while you are on a motorcycle. Now, regardless of the helmet that you're wearing, be it a 3/4 or a full face helmet, as long as you're not wearing a half helmet where your ears are exposed to the elements, there is going to be some reduction in wind noise because they still cover your ears. However, the truth is that a 3/4 helmet is not going to reduce the wind noise by any appreciable amount, especially if you're not wearing any ear protection, which is the standard procedure amongst most Singaporean motorcyclists. In fact, even though I wear a full face helmet nowadays, I wear earplugs whenever I'm on the bike, even if I'm just going to the office and back for a 10-kilometer round trip. The thing is, with full face helmets, even though they are not going to bring down wind noise to absolute safe levels, it is going to help reduce the wind noise by quite a larger amount than with open face helmets. And if you do not wear earplugs and you are riding short distances daily, they can help. Now, the reason is that with a full face helmet, first of all, you can have a windshield. This windshield does definitely deflect the wind that smacks into your face to the side, and reduces the level of wind noise that could have entered into your helmet. However, most full face open face helmets lacking a chin bar, they also lack a ability to mount a chin curtain, or lack a chin curtain to begin with, because if you were to see my F-Frame Pro, a chin curtain, no matter how small, is still able to be fitted on it, and this helps a lot in reducing the wind noise. Without that chin curtain, the vast majority of the wind that goes into your head is going to circulate around the back of your head, and then basically creating a vortex around your ears, and that causes a lot of the whirring sounds that will eventually destroy your hearing over an extended period of time. On top of that, the lack of a chin bar means that your face shield, is not going to be as rigid as it could be. Now, with a full face helmet like the Icon Pro, the fact that it has a chin bar means the more flexible face shield is being secured across the entire face pod. So when wind hits it and it tries to flex, it's going to stay as rigid as possible and dissipate as much of that vibrating energy away from your head in general and out to the back. However, with a face shield on an open face helmet, when wind hits it, it's not going to be as rigid, especially at the bottom lip. It's going to flex, it's going to vibrate, and this vibration will increase the amount of residual noise apart from the wind and transfer into your ears, and it can increase the amount of noise that your ears experience. And this is how with open face helmets they start causing a lot of hearing loss for the most part. Now, I am a proponent of free choice. I'm not saying that everybody should not be allowed to wear an open face helmet. I'm saying that everybody should be allowed to make their own informed or uninformed choices if you swing that way. However, I'm just giving you the facts so that you can better make informed choices of your own. So the thing is that in Singapore, the problem is that there is a huge lack of information being taught at the motorcycle training centers. Even though these motorcycle training centers are, for the most part, regulated and actually administered by the traffic police, and they do teach a lot of basic safety procedures, there is a huge lack of information given about how a new rider ought to invest in protective gear. I mean, come on, the very first helmet that you would get if you were to just buy one together with the first lesson of your motorcycle training journey is an open face helmet. I'm not sure if it's changed nowadays, but back in my time, about 11 years ago, that was the case. Everybody was given a 3/4 helmet if they were not already equipped with one. And if you came with a full face helmet, you would be sent back out by the instructors and asked to take a rental 3/4 helmet from the bin. And I believe that is not right. The thing is that the 3/4 helmets in the training schools, they were meant so that, especially in the 2B, which is the first tier of training, in 2A and Class 2, they usually don't care what helmets you wear. I went with a full face helmet on my 2A and Class 2 license exams and training lessons. But in 2B, they forced everyone to wear open face helmets. Why? Because they want the instructors to be able to see your eyes and your positioning of the head more easily to ensure that you are looking at the correct direction, which is not wrong. It is how the instructors are able to inculcate in you the correct field of vision when you are moving off from a stationary position and when you are scanning the intersection before moving in to a turn or crossing the intersection that you are stopped at. The problem with this kind of reinforcement is that it gets new riders very used to the idea that a 3/4 helmet is the comfortable way to wear a helmet, instead of getting them eventually acclimated to having a full face helmet on. And that leads to a lot of riders, when they graduate and get their license, that is the kind of helmet they are used to and they will go into using, whether it is a good idea to or not. So the only way we can remedy this situation is with videos like this and with other more experienced and seasoned riders who have stories of being in accidents, and sharing their story with new riders so that they do not follow in the same foolish footsteps as our predecessors, or even us for that matter. So I hope you liked this video and you found it very informative. If you like it, give me a like and thumbs up down in the doobly-doo below. And if you have anything you would like to say to me, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Peace out. Bye bye.